This video is going to give you an idea on how to do well with your tactical scenario. This is typically only on company officer and above test. So if you're doing that test, this can be helpful. If it's any other position, it still might be good to know. There's times in a firefighter test you might be expected. Possibly for engineer, this is definitely a good thing for an engineer test, but most likely it's most applicable towards company officer and above. The format that this refers to is the blue card command and the format that they use for blue card. This isn't exactly from them. This is something that was taken from them. It's something that I kind of created, and I found it to be really helpful. So hopefully you get something out of it. If this works for you, it's a really easy template to learn, and it can come in super helpful. So I'm going to explain it, and hopefully it's helpful. If not, at least you can learn something that could help your own size up for scenarios. So there's three different things that you can size up. There's a structure fire, there's a wildland fire, and there's a motor vehicle accident. All three on one page. So the way that this sheet is designed to work is that you print it out and you can keep it with you in the fire engine, or you can keep it on your phone. It's basically just designed to be a checklist for your size up. And I'll go through all it is. So again, there's three different areas all on one page that you can give a size up for. It's broken down to be as simple as possible, and if nothing else, for doing your size ups, think of it as doing a CAN report. All that is that you're explaining the conditions, the actions, and what your needs are. From there, you need to assume incident command. But the three things you want to do is CAN. So if you're not familiar with CAN, it just stands for conditions, actions, needs, and it's a really good template for giving size up on any of these. It's not super common terminology to use this in the wildland fire environment, but if you see the sheet, you'll see how even if you're not super versed in wildland, motor vehicle accidents, or if you're not good at structure fire, using this template is a good foundation for giving a clean, concise radio report. So for the structure fire, here's the elements. First off, you need to clear, most of the time you're going to want to clear traffic so that you know you have a good signal to your dispatch center. Once you clear the traffic, you're going to want to explain what the conditions are. What is it that you're seeing, and give a really good report of what your conditions are. In terms of structure fire, what is the building that you're looking at? What's the size? How many stories? And what type? And in terms of, for this, we keep it as simple as possible. We don't give square footage. We don't get into building type of construction or anything. We just say small, medium, large, or mega. And the stories is 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. You can do more than that also. And then the type, is it residential? Is it commercial? Is it an apartment? Or is it a strip mall? That's what you're seeing with the building. And the condition of the problem is there's nothing showing, there's light smoke, there's working fire, or you have a fully involved structure. And the location of the problem will be the Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, or Delta side. So that's conditions. The condition is you have a building, size, stories, type. The problem is any one of these, and you give a location of the problem. Next, what are your actions? What are you going to do to resolve this problem, to mitigate this problem? The task, and what this uses is task, location, objectives, TLO. That's a common thing you'll hear if you ever do blue card training. Task, location, objectives. So what are the actions? The task is I'm going to establish a water supply, pull an attack line, horizontal standpipe, a quick hit, or it's a defensive operation. Location, Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta. So this is your location and where you're located. It's different than the location of the fire or the problem. This is your location. Your objectives, primary search, fire control, or you're going to evacuate the structure. And the strategy, it's either going to be an offensive or a defensive strategy. So condition, there's the conditions. Here's the actions that you are taking and the needs here. So the needs that you can call is you can say cancel, it's a false alarm. You can say hold the current balance. You could say continue the balance as dispatched. You could upgrade it if you need more resources. And then you can also add whatever else you're going to need to add. So those are your needs. And then you want to assume the IC so that you begin the incident with a solid incident command and whatever name that is. So here's the first part of the size up for a structure fire. The next part of it is you want to do a 360 of the structure and you have your follow-up report. So here's the initial report when you first arrive on scene. Here's your follow-up report. Whenever you're able to give a 360 of a structure, it's really helpful because it gives you the views from different sides of the structure, and it lets your crew and the oncoming units know what you're dealing with. So stories from the Charlie side, assuming you're on the Alpha, you would want to call back, and this is where you give your follow-up report. What you want to include is the stories from the Charlie side, if there's a basement and what type the basement is, if there's any changes to your initial plan, and you want to establish where your accountability is located. It's also very helpful at this point to assign a TAC channel so that you're not taking up all the traffic on the one channel in case there's other units that need to respond or other units that are going to different calls. So that's structure fire. And I'll give you a quick size up just so you understand how it works. So here you say, the engine we'll say is engine 551. And you go on scene, so alarm engine 551. Alarm would come back. You say engine 551, we are on scene of a small single story residential structure. We have light smoke showing from the Alpha side of the structure. Engine 551 is going to establish a water supply, and we're going to extend an attack line to the Alpha side of the structure for primary search and fire control. This is going to be offensive strategy. Continue the balance. Engine 551 will be house IC. So that's a basic example. Again, it's going to vary depending on whatever else you have, and it can change with every situation, but that's going to be the initial part. You get out, you do a 360, you call your dispatch back. Alarm, engine 551. Engine 551 has completed a 360 of the structure. There is no basement. It is still one story from the Charlie side. We are continuing with the offensive strategy with an attack line to the Alpha side of the structure. Accountability is located at pump 551. Move all traffic to TAC channel 5. So that's for structure fire. How the same template can work for wildland fire. And so the thought of this is that you have a standard template that can apply to any type of emergency you come across. So here's a wildland fire. You'll see there's a change in terminology. There's also some tactical changes, but the template is still the same. Conditions, actions, needs, IC, and a 360 follow-up report, assuming you can get a 360. If not, this is just a follow-up report. So conditions for the wildland fire are here. You have the size, and size is 1/4 acre, 1/2 acre, 1 acre, or 2+ acres. And then from there you can just estimate 10, 20, 30, 40 acres, whatever it may be. Your fuel is can be grass, brush, or timber. The wind direction, you can see it's a wind-driven fire, or the winds are calm, and the direction the winds are coming from. The rate of spread, how fast is the fire spreading, slow, moderate, or fast. And then down here, if there's any exposures, if this wildfire is progressing towards a house, towards a highway, towards a retirement home, whatever type of threats there are, that's good to get that out in the initial report. There's the conditions that you're seeing. And this was all taken from the IRPG, from what the Forest Service, the this is a standard size up that they use with the Forest Service, and it's in the IRPG size up. It's not quite in the same format, but we made sure that all the information that was in here came from there, and it follows the standard size up they're looking for. The actions, so you have your conditions, you have your actions, and your actions are going to be, you're going to go with a direct attack, indirect attack, or you're going to evacuate some area. Your location and access, this gives you a direction, northeast, south, or west, and where your location is and how you're going to access the fire. The objectives, fire control or exposure protection. Again, you can see the same thing here as task, your location, and your objectives. Same up here, task, location, objectives. So task, location, objectives, and then your water supply, if you have tank water, if you have a hydrant, or if you need a water tender shuttle. It's very important to call for more water if you're going to need more water sooner rather than later. This part is your needs. So what do you need? Do you need to cancel? Do you need to hold the balance? Do you need to continue? Do you need to upgrade? Or do you need to add more units? Some options you can call for, at least within our system, is a water tender shuttle. You can call for more engines. You can call and notify the Forest Service. And then here you want to name the fire. Then you get out, you get a better assessment. If it's a small fire, you could do a 360. If not, then you just give a follow-up report. You can say access is off of this road from the south side. The size of the fire and spread potential, confirming that the size is 1/2 acre with high spread potential. Additional resources, any special hazards that could be threatened, and again, just emphasize what exposures could be threatened, and then you can move to attack channel at this point. So for wildland, it follows the same. I'm not the biggest in wildland, and so this has helped me become better so that I can give a really good size up initially. I do some wildland, but I don't claim to be a wildland guru. But this can help to give a really good size up and make sure you make a good choice initially. Next, we go into the motor vehicle accident. And so this one is, again, it's conditions, actions, and needs. So how this is you have condition. What's the condition that you see? How many vehicles are involved? Is it a head-on, a T-bone, a rear end? Is it a rollover, or is it a side swipe? Is the damage minor, heavy, minor, moderate, or heavy? And what is the location? Is the vehicle located in the shoulder, the median? If they're in the lane, which direction? Is it southbound lane or northbound lane? The more details on location, that can help. So what are the conditions that you see? What's the asking? What's the actions? So again, the actions, task, location, objectives. The actions is that the task is that you're going to be blocking the lane. You're going to be triaging patients. You may be stabilizing a vehicle. If you know right off the bat that you're going to be doing extrication, this would be a time that you would mention that also. And you would mention the location that you're coming from. So we're blocking the northbound lane. We're going to triage patients and stabilize vehicles. And then here is your objectives. So the objectives is triage and identify needs. The needs, so here's the needs is cancel, hold the balance, continue units as dispatched, upgrade, or you can add more units that you need. And then again, you want to assume IC. Now you get out, you do your follow-up 360. In a perfect world, you can walk around the entire incident. It's not always possible, but if you walk around and you say, confirming this is to vehicle, we have, this is where you can give your triage of the patients. And it'll help determine how many ambulances you need. Also, if you need to call for a helicopter or if there's other resources you may need to consider. So the number of patients, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and their condition. So you could say you have 2 critical patients and 3 minor and 1 fatality. That's really helpful because it determines what type of resources you're going to need. It also lets oncoming crews know what type of work they might need. And this is where you call for the resources. So calling for resources, you can call for a helicopter, call for more ambulances, you can call for more engines, and also ensure that law enforcement is en route. Also, if there's extrication, this is the time when you need to notify crews that extrication is going to be required. If someone's inside of a burning building, that also makes sure that the oncoming crews continue as expedient as possible. Then you assign a TAC channel. So that's it. I hope it's really helpful. This is designed to just be a kind of a cookie cutter mold that you can use. There's a lot of variation, and there's a lot of challenging situations that you can face, both in real life and in a promotional exam. So this is designed to give you a common thought process. If nothing else from this sheet, just get in the habit of doing your size up and think, what are the conditions? What actions am I taking? What do I need? And assume I see anytime you have more units than just yourself coming to the accident. Also be sure to give a follow-up report and include these details in the follow-up report. I think it'll be helpful for you. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us. And I wish you the best of luck. Bye.